Hola, all my peoples, most especially members of the imperative and eventually 4 members of the directive once they get their asses in gear. We're actually going to be working towards rebuilding the directive for the most part. There are a few pieces that remain, a few operatives that are still in play, but for all intents and purposes, it kind of needs refurbishing. In any case, this is this video is particularly for members of the imperative as they've asked me questions which I intend to answer here. They've been asking me questions regarding certain factors of the initiative that they don't quite understand completely. So we're going to make that as clear as possible. Also, this is most importantly for Randy to help get him accustomed and acquainted with his role as director of the initiative, which of course I am still the director of the initiative in totality. However, Randy is the acting director. He is essentially an apprentice to me, and he's learning to become a replacement director. Ultimately, should I be eliminated in one way or another, Randy will be fully capable of taking over. However, he is acting director. He is to be regarded as such and to be given that level of respect. He deserves it. He has had a certain degree of training and he is capable for the most part of handling business. He needs a little help, and so I'm launching this in series of instruction videos for him, but this one particularly speaks to questions asked by the imperative members. Now, I being a blue and a traveler and just generally me myself who I am, I've always been very well attuned to dreams, and I've always had very in-depth, depthful, visceral, very concrete dreams, you could say, and I've spent a lot of time in dreams. I've had time that's stretched out long, years and years I've spent dreams. I've lived entire lives in my dreams, entire alternate lives, and not just alternate lives as this me, but as other people. I've experienced a great deal through DreamWorks, and most especially after I met Ariel, began my training, and was specifically trained to work with DreamWorks. And of course, we'll get into making training videos for DreamWorks for anybody, travelers who are interested and all that. But for this video, we're speaking to the nature of the catalyst events. Now, what happened, how it went down, is I had a dream. Let's call it. We're going to call it a dream. Just say that it's a dream I had for the sake of making it easier, more acceptable, and not providing so much of an opportunity for people to dismiss it, ignore it, or even argue it, debate it. We'll just call it a dream. Now, throughout my life, as I said, being very attuned to dreams, I've had a great deal of prophetic dreams. And I mean many, many, many prophetic dreams, not just here and there, but again and again and again. And these dreams, for the most part, are 100% accurate. They sometimes have had dreams about precise things that are going to happen, and they did happen, sometimes very quickly, next day. I wake up and the thing happens sometimes. Sometimes I've had dreams that didn't transpire, it didn't go down for years afterwards, and I didn't even know it was going to happen. Like, I didn't even see it as being a prophetic dream until, wow, holy shit, I dreamt that, you know. And sometimes I've had dreams that I've learned to read dreams. Of course, that's a big factor of being a traveler, being a blue, is learning to read your dreams, learning to interpret them. And so at times I've had dreams that had interpretations of events that needed to be puzzled together, but did in fact happen to come to pass. But in all cases, and anybody that wishes to, you can go ahead and investigate this. You can question me on my dreams. You can witness me having prophetic dreams. I'll try to get one out for you so that you can see it happen. Um, and you can ask the foundation members. They've all bared witness to so many of these different prophetic dreams having transpired. So we have evidence. We have eyewitness testimony to prove to you that yes, indeed, I've had not only a bunch of prophetic dreams that have come to pass, but every last one of them. There's only one dream I've had, prophetic dream, that has not happened yet, and it's because it has not happened yet. It is going to happen, and a lot of the aspects of it are transpiring. Now, this dream This happened years ago, and it led up to 5 years into the future from now. So 5 years ahead of this point right here, or actually 4 years ahead, because this would have been 2017. It would have been 5 years ahead that I lived into it. And it didn't happen then. I didn't have a dream where I was 5 years into the future. I actually lived the time leading up to that, and I experienced it like an alternate life. And in this alternate life, many alternate avenues were lived. I had many different occurrences that did not transpire this time around. I even say the first time around, as I call it. Many different things happened in many different ways. For example, my ex-wife and I remained together. Our relationship became something of a monstrous scenario that was very difficult to even, I don't even like to think about it now. It was terrifying. It was a horrible, horrible life to live. So things happened to us that needed to be changed, and they have been. And so we are all better off now, and things are much better now. The initiative did not exist at all. Never happened. None of it ever happened, and we never did any of this. We didn't even try. And several events transpired that one after another, these events transpired that led us down the path to ruin, road to perdition, and eventually we did meet with this sort of apocalypse scenario occurrence that we were just, humanity was screwed, and there's no going back, there's no recovery. We were totally fucked. Humanity as a species was over. Now, what it ultimately had to do with, there were various experimental factors that had to do with scientific community's experimental endeavors, and it had a lot to do with our understanding of quantum mechanics. That as we became more and more acquainted with quantum mechanics, and it became more and more effective in society and useful and accepted, it began to replace general relativity with directive relativity, and the laws of physics essentially kind of got out of whack. Things started getting out of hand, and we were unable to control it properly. This is a metaphorical or a metaphysical aspect of the planetary Kundalini awakening. Any one of you can look into the Kundalini and how it operates in the body. Essentially, what it is it's the pent up stress and anxiety and just anxious, nervous energy that gets penned up within you. The extra abundance of energy that you have, that you should have naturally. This is not, it shouldn't be pent up the way it is. It's pent up because we have nerve cluster, the primary nerve clusters in our body are what we call the chakras. They attach to the primary organs and they serve various functions. These material aspects, these chakras, can be blocked out. Actually, you would say that the nerve clusters are the nerve clusters. It's just what they are. And then there are, of course, the primary glandular system, which is directly related to these nerve clusters. And I suppose you would say the chakras are actually the psychophysiological aspect, the psychological aspect that corresponds to these. Your brain controls these nerve centers, and your psychology is what causes for them to operate in the way that they do. And so, due to psychological traumas, due to emotional traumas, due to post-traumatic stress disorders, as you could say, just due to belief structures, due to whatever it is that informs and programs your psychological self, your psychological presence, determines the balance, the maintenance, and the regulation of the how energy operates in regard to these nerve clusters. They can be blocked up, pent up by certain psychological factors, by certain emotional factors, by certain pollutions that are introduced to the body, materially speaking. These nerve clusters, these chakras, can get pent up, blocked up, imbalanced. And the Kundalini, the operative force in the human entity, which is actually like a human superpower, it supercharges you, it supercharges your metabolism, it gives you It gives you an abundance of energy. It gives you a capacity most people who haven't experienced it just wouldn't even believe. It makes you so powerful. It allows for you to do all the crazy things that the mystics speak of, that people think are, supernatural hogwash. It's not supernatural. It is perfectly natural. It's just that it's been repressed in the human system. It's also been repressed in the planetary system. The human body is a microcosm of the planet, of the ecological body, of the greater macrocosm of the planetary body, which is a microcosm of the cosmological body, and so on and so forth. Microorganisms are microcosms of the human body. It's just everything is of a cosmological nature, and it all has this same functionality, this Kundalini, what the elder traditions called the serpent fire. It's just this miraculous energy that can be unleashed in you, that can be made use of. But if it activates prematurely and your nerve clusters, your chakras are not aligned properly, if you have psychological issues that are binding these chakras, that are blocking them, then when that energy activates and unleashes in you, which it's going to activate one way or another, whether you make it happen or not, at this point in our evolution, we should be fully prepared for it, but we're not. We've actually effectively hindered ourselves, and then there are factors in play that have caused for us to be blocked up, pent up, unable to activate it properly. And when it activates, it just barrels right through these blockages, as I've explained before, and it causes a great deal of damage to the body. Any one of you can look into it. You can look into my earlier videos on it. It explains it perfectly, in depth, and you can read about it online. You can look it up, whatever you want to do, but that is the fact of the matter. That's how the biological organism operates. That is its primary functionality. That's the operative essence of the human entity, is this Kundalini energy that will enlarge and emboss your nervous system. It will swell your nervous system and exercise it like a muscle, allowing, and your glands as well. It will swell your glands and exercise them like muscles in order to allow for you to have a greater capacity of energy. It will make use of the so-called junk DNA in your system and the so-called redundant organs that you have in the body. They are not redundant. There is no junk DNA. Everything is to be made use of. It's all designed perfectly. It's just been repressed. Now, with the resonance effect in play, many people are going to be experiencing spontaneous activation of this Kundalini, the symptoms are going to begin as anxiety and panic attacks and feral rushes of anger and manic states, bipolar states. All of these things are going to be, the arising symptoms to begin with, and then, of course, damages will occur in the body once it starts to break through these blockages if they're not balanced properly. Now, what we are dealing with on a planetary scale is the activation of the planet's Kundalini. It's happening now. And that's why it's spontaneously happening with people all over the place, because that's it. But we are evolving as a species. We're at a point, and this cycle has happened many times before, and every time it happened, we were not prepared for it. The Kundalini hip blockages caused damage in the ecological system and ultimately wound up causing for extinction events to occur. Everything got fucked up because we weren't prepped, and we're not prepped now like we should be, but we're going to have to scramble to make things happen. We're going to do it too. We're going to make it happen. Now, the thing of it is that during this time that I spent in Dream, I witnessed the catalyst events, the occurrences that caused for this apocalypse scenario to transpire. And I remember a lot of them. I know what they are, I know how to identify them, and I have ideas as to how we can deal with them. On another end of the spectrum, I'm not the only operative who's had this. There's another operative who had this experience and saw this happen and went ahead and dealt with it appropriately. His name is Junvalo Melchizedek. You can look into him. I can provide the spelling for you if you need it. But a lot of you should know about Big Droon. Drunvalo Melchizedek is a big fucking deal in the metaphysical community. He went ahead and with his people, his initiative, went ahead and dealt with the material physical objective, the object aspects of the planetary Kundalini. They went and they did these certain ceremonial practices to prep the actual physical material placements of the chakra system in the planetary body, and he succeeded. And what he did effectively, and you can look into this, it's proven, it's the real deal Holyfield, he actually caused for the planet to develop a reinforced magnetic field, which did not happen the first time. We now have this supercharged extra electromagnetic field around the body. We enhanced and improved the body's aura, its halo. And Drunvalo accomplished that by dealing with the material aspects. However, we still have the blockages in the chakras, which are not places anymore. The chakras of the planetary, of the human species, are socio-political influences. They are psychophysiological, socio-political problems that we need to be dealing with, certain specific difficulties. Religion is one of them. Sexuality is one of them. Education is another one. There are several of them that we need to deal with. The imperative needs to target and launch a coordinated effort to solve these problems one after another. And hit them all at once if you want to, but there is a certain order in which we can deal with them. And as I said, throughout the course of this dream, I witnessed these catalyst events lead us downhill. So what we need to do now is prevent them. The initiative is here now. It wasn't here in the dream. The first time around, it did not happen. But we're here now, and we are prepared to deal with these problems head on. And that's what the imperative is here to do. That's the purpose of the initiative as a whole, is to deal with these chakras, these psychophysiological, socio-political aspects of our human evolution as a species. And so the geophysical aspect of it has been taken care of by Drunvalo Melchizedek. Now it's our task. The responsibility rests on our shoulders to clear up the psychological blockages. And so one after another, we're going to deal with these catalyst events. In any case, try to cut this under 20 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. This is to begin the instruction video for Randy and for what will become the new directive and the imperative, which is continuing to grow. We're making headway in that regard. So we're going to deal with these catalyst events one after another, and I'll make videos regarding each of them, specifically, but that is to answer the questions that have been asked of me by the imperative. That is what the catalyst events are. That's what it means, where it came from, and essentially what our objective mission is here. So thank you very much for watching. I love you guys very much. We're really going to kick some ass here, so keep at it. Keep with the program. I'm going to tell you right now, as it stands, believe it or not, I don't want to put myself as profess myself as some kind of a holy prophet or anything like that. I'm just going to say, in regards to what I understand, based on my experiences and this dream that I've had, we now, at this point, as it stands, have 19 months to cover these issues, to deal with these problems. Every time we lose an operative, or every time we lose, a campaign fails or what have you, we lose time. Every time that we gain an operative, every time that a campaign is launched, every time that we make headway and are successful in any regard, we gain time. So we are fighting for time here, and this is a race against time. We need to fight to make more time here, so that ultimately we can just secure the future altogether. So that's that. That's the explanation in a nutshell. Thank you for watching. Love all you guys. Best wishes in your endeavor to take over as the new directive and imperative. And I'm still with you, but for the most part, I'm still with you guys. But this is in your hands now, and I have full faith in all of you. So Randy and the other reps for the representatives of the communities specifically, the communities that are specifically dealing with certain catalysts. Um, best wishes, good skill, excellence into all of you, and kick ass. I love you guys. Thank you very much for giving me this time. Kila Salai, Teriyuni Siari, Namaste.